Hey everyone, in this next video I'll be adding two more data flows to our current workspace, Boston All-Stars. These will look very similar to what we've already done with these two. However, the setups will be slightly different and one will have a unique step to it. I've already gone ahead and added two more Excel files to our data folder within Microsoft Teams. One is manually tracked body weight and then the other is labeled sample Vald data. Vald's one of our sports tech brands that we use at Bryant. Now just looking at these two really quickly, this is just manually tracked body weight data for every 2 weeks. And then this next one is performance data. So we have counter movement jump, sprint, and 5-10-5 data. All of this data can be exported from Vald's hub. So an example of this within the hub is to take, let's say, smart speed, which is our timing gates, then select the test type, check the box, and export. Now this exported file will be displayed like this. Depending on what type of test you're exporting, it may look different. Now, one way to set this data flow up is to just copy and then paste this data somewhere else like this. Our columns will not match up right now just because of how I have this set up, but that's one way to do it. Another way is very similar to what we did in part 2 of exporting all these files, dropping them into one specific folder, and then using Power Query to merge them all together. But we're going to do it a little differently in this video, so we're going to leave this file alone and then leave these the way they are. So we have CMJ table, sprint table, 5-10-5 table, and we're gonna start by copying path, same way we did, and we're gonna go and start creating a new data flow. So very similar steps as we did in the other video. Web API, delete everything after the file extension, organizational account already set up. And then I'm going to add in those 3 tables, transform my data, make sure everything looks good enough for right now. I can always change it later. I got a question mark here. That looks good. Date looks good. Now this one doesn't seem to be changing column types on their own. So I'm going to Control A, transform, detect data types. It's not detecting any better than what I'm using, so this is one where I will have to change some things. And I'm just going to do it for the main columns that I know I'm going to use later. So full name, date, and then the total time. Mile per hour conversion, not too worried about. Velocity, not too worried about. Some of those other I'm not too worried about. So I'll just take the total, make it a decimal number, and from there we're good. So I'll save and close this. While that's closing, I'll make sure I click refresh. We have, I'll just call this performance data. I'll refresh that, close out this Excel, and then I'll get this other one ready to go. So this is our body weight, info, copy path. Same steps, so new data flow. However, this one will have a unique step to it. So I'm going to add the tables, same way, delete after the file extension. But when I go in to transform the data for this body weight file, that's where things will be a little bit different. So transform data, and right now we have our data displayed horizontally. So the column headers are the dates, and the body weights are displayed horizontally for each person's name. This we're going to change to be vertical. How we're going to do that, keep this first column selected, transform, unpivot columns, and we're going to unpivot all the other columns. What this is going to do is take those column headers for each person, make that a column of just dates, and then a column for just the body weights. I'm going to change the column names here. Can't see because the blue. There we go. And then just make sure they're the right data type. So decimal, date, name. Perfect. Save and close there. And body weight. Save. I'm going to refresh this. And this will be the last data flow we add in. Just to keep things similar, we're not going to continue to drop data in here, but I'm going to set up the same refresh settings here. So we're going to go in on Eastern time. I think it was 5 a.m. and 3 p.m. Apply that, and then body weights as well. Eastern time, 5 a.m., 3 p.m., save and apply. One more thing I want to add to this video, just because I know I left it out earlier. I'm going to go into our sample roster, and we're going to get the image URL for Tom Brady. So to do this, simply go to Google, Tom Brady headshot images. I can select this first one, right click and copy image address. Now if you're getting them all from a website of, let's say, a team roster, you can go to that website, click on each person, go into their player profile, right click, copy image address, and then you just got to paste that in there. As we click on it, it'll bring us to that headshot. Usually if it's a roster of a specific team through one organization, they'll all be the same size. We'll probably run into some issues here because all of these have different size images. Some are more vertical, some are more horizontal, but I'm not too concerned about that. But image URL set up for all the players. That's good. Our data flows are set up, all refresh without any errors, so that's good. And I'm just going to refresh this one more because we just updated that headshot. But once we're done there, we are good to move and actually start creating our dashboard in this next video.